Ginties. Similar to the pannier tank video I did last week, it should be pretty obvious I have a small army of Ginties. My Ginties range from the original triang version to a mid-80s version to a much more modern release. Between these two here, the only difference is the chassis. There's three main versions of the Jinty chassis. You got the original, which uses a Triang XO3. It's a very basic chassis. It still actually uses quite a lot of the original Triang elements, just with a different motor and much more refined wheels. You got the later version of this chassis, which is a lot more similar to the current version. However, the rear wheels are sprung and it's got traction tires on the middle. Instead of using only one set of wiper pickups, it's now got two sets on either side, and then they go straight to this, the Hornby M-type motor. They are ridiculously cheap, but they are terrible. They're 3-pole motors, and fine, you can get good running out of them, but they're really unreliable. They fail all the time. I believe this is the original motor for this guy, so that's fun. And 40 years later, we have this version. Still using the M-type motor, slightly more refined wheels, although this guy has had them swapped out at some point, and still using the old wiper pickups. And if I'm being honest, this is probably the worst running of my Ginties, excluding the Triang one. I haven't had that for long. It needs a real good service. Both these Ginties here I've bought secondhand. This one was found on Marketplace in a complete train set for 50 quid. This guy was got from a train show for about 15 to 20 quid. I can't really remember. It's been repainted. The bunker's been redone so it uses so it has rails instead of just molded plastic like on here, and the interior's been painted, and I've added a crew. That's my one contribution, is the crew. On top here, it's got fireman tools, which I think is a really nice touch, and all this pipework on the side's been painted. I don't know if they would have been painted in real life, but the last owner chose to, so it was painted here. Honestly, I love this thing. It's so nice to use. It's a shame about the number coming off here and here, but oh well. It's not the best paint job in the world, but it's good enough. You know, on the layout, you don't really pick up on a lot of the smaller things that are wrong with it, except that glue mark there. That's my fault. It's pretty gross. I quite like the comparison between these two because it gives you a really good understanding of the sort of effect you can achieve for very, very cheap. It's obviously a lot more worn down engine. It's a lot closer to what engines actually looked like at the end of the R. It's even got a crushed collar in the back, which is really nice. Age hasn't been nice to this guy. I'd like to do like a restoration or like touch-ups to it at some point. Maybe repaint the cold bunker because that's pretty gross actually. But I'd like to just sit down one day and just sort of give it a facelift. You know, fix all this at the back where it's all shattered and just refine it. It's also missing the front steps, which I think is pretty funny. Just simple little things like painting the tyres and centers of the axles really do make a massive change to an engine. I'd like to weather this guy and make him look a lot more like the other Jinty. That's not going to be for a while. I want to do a video of this guy's train set first, just so I can say, right, 80s train set, this is what it was like. So until I film that, this guy's going to be left as it is, because I don't want to mess around with this. I got a couple of train sets now. I want to do like a comparison between loads of them. So like that train set I looked at a couple of weeks ago, I would like to use footage from that in this guy's video and just sort of compare things. How's it being packaged? What's the standard of the model like? You know, because this is a train set engine. Comparing these two together, this is the better engine by a mile. Even with no added weight in either of these, this is much, much heavier. And they are really cheap. Second hand, these are really similar in price. You have to be mad to get one of these when there's a Jinty for sale. I see a lot of people when they start out with model railway, they always go for something new, but I don't really think that's the best way to go about it. If you look at the current price of model railways, it's really ridiculous how much people want for stuff. Not even new. On the second hand market as well, it's really bad. A Bachmann Jinty is easily like 60, 70 quid second hand. And yeah, I get it's a lot better than this, but does it really have enough qualities to make up for a 50 to 60 quid price difference? Because these can be found relatively easily for, I don't know, 20, 25 quid? Granted, yes, it may need a service, but for 20, 25 quid, that's all that's wrong with it. Can you complain? I know there's pretty common for people to mix up the original Triang Jinty in this version here. These going for 10, 12 quid. They are really worthless actually. You know, they're a nice loco to have for more as like a collector standpoint than a model railway standpoint. It's just a nice little bit of history to own as opposed to something I'll actually run. You know, don't get me wrong, these are really nice if you want to do like a kit bash and you plan to swap all the wheels. As a standalone model, like, it's hard to compare them. Even just small things like the windows. On this guy here, there's all sorts of crap in them. But on here, they're glazed. They're really, really nicely glazed. So it's just like a sort of thing to keep an eye out for. Just don't mix these two up when you're looking at second-hand Jinties. I'd like to do a video on this one at some point where I strip it down bare, cut off the handrails, replace the wheels, put a new motor in it, and like really just improve it. I really want to see if I can get one of these triang Jinties to the same standard as a later Bachmann one. Because I think that'd be really funny, just having, you know, this ancient loco running alongside a Bachmann one and being better than it. So a little bit of real life basis of the logos. The LMS Jinties were designed by Henry Fowler for the LMS in 1924. 422 of these tank engines were produced, and they were used on all sorts of jobs. Some did shunting, some pulled passenger trains, some did goods. They're sort of an all-round tank engine. The LMS is standard. All members of the class survived up until BR ownership, where they didn't start withdrawing them until 1959. By 1964, most members of the class had been withdrawn, and the final 5 survivors of the class in BR ownership made it till 1967. One more was still being used by the National Coal Board, but even that was eventually withdrawn. In preservation, 9 members of the class survived, which is really good numbers considering how many engines were cut up. You know, loads and loads of engine types just went extinct because of how many got cut up. The northeastern region is a terrible example of it. Their main tank engine, the J50s, gone. There's not a single one left. So for this video, I want to do something a little different. I want to just sit down, just compare some engines running at slow speeds and just get an idea how good their performance is. Because, like I said, the M-type motor in this is really unreliable, but you can get decent performance from it. I want to take a couple engines and just sort of compare them, compare all the Jinties I have. But to do that, we need a referee. Here's our referee. It's going to be the J50. Because this is the standard of what I think a good model should be running like. If it isn't anywhere near to this, I don't think it's a good runner. So, let's go have a comparison. I've just finished filming all the running. Did good work. This is the standard I want. And these 4, not bad. Needs all, but not bad. Probably wheels cleaning as well now I think about it. You were annoying because of the traction tyre. This little bit where the rails aren't quite eye to eye. I think I've used code 100 and code 75 next to each other without realising. But when this guy goes over, the traction tyre somehow stops connectivity between the wheels. I don't get how, but it might just need the wheels cleaned. You were disappointed, but it's not your fault. The wheels I've gone on this do not agree with it. This guy had his wheels cleaned before I actually did it, and yeah, it's what I expected. These wheels are really bad. They don't agree with my track at all. I like to do a video, you know, completely redoing this guy, but that's for a later date. Now that you've seen them trying to match the J50, how about we just see them running by themselves? Well, the Hornby J50. I really recommend these older versions because of how little they are and how good they actually look for how old and dated the toolings are. You know, secondhand, steal these are. A new release though, I wouldn't bother. You know, the price isn't good, and not to mention the motor in it's pretty naff. I wouldn't want to pay 60. I want 60 quid for these, by the way. I wouldn't pay 60 quid for one of these just to have it fail on me. I know they come in train sets and stuff, but if they're cheaper, you can just buy a second-hand one of these and then get whatever rolling stock and coaches you want, and then get as much track as you really want. Why would I pay more for the same stuff if not get less? These two, get a second-hand Jinty. They're honestly amazing for how little they cost. I know compared to some of the other engines I've had on here recently, these aren't as good, but they're still good, you know? Just because I've shown better stuff doesn't mean these are bad, it's just what else you can get for that sort of money. The other two have their own problems as well, such as the chassis on them. This guy actually has separately fitted bearings on like that pannier from last week. And yes, I know it didn't run the best, but I also haven't serviced it, so it really was unfair on this guy. They're not perfect. Obviously they're not perfect, but they're not bad either. For the money that they go for, they're good starter engines. You know, that's what I'd really recommend them as. You need an engine to get started, get yourself a Jinty. End of. So, that's all I got for you this week. I upload every single Saturday, and if you enjoyed, feel free to come back next week. Bye bye now.